Hi everyone, I'm LeNinja. I'm the developer of the EBC Tracker, also known as Axie.watch, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up your schoolers and a few of the features of the website. So first thing you want to do is come here to the schoolers page. We have here at the top a new schooler button. We can click that and a new modal will show up. We will have two tabs. We have the manual, where we can add a single schooler per time, and we can use the book import tab, so we can import many schoolers at once using this format. So let's try the manual tab first. I have here a list with a few addresses. Let's copy this one. The website will fetch the name of the schooler in game. You can click it so it's added to the name, or you can just ignore it or change it or leave it empty. And if it's empty, it will use the name schooler and then the number of the schooler. We have the schooler payment address. Let's leave it empty for now. And we have the share division, where we can put how much the manager will get. So let's put here 30% for the manager, which leaves the schooler with 70%. And we can also check this box for the investor. So let's add 10% for the investor. And then we have 30 for the manager, 10 for the investor, and 60 for the schooler. So let's click save. And we have our first schooler. So let's add a few more. Now this time with the book import. So we will need to use this format, which is address, the name, the schooler percentage, just the number, the manager percentage, and the investor percentage, and then the schooler payment address, all of them separated by a comma. And also all of those are optional, so we can just add the address, or we can add just the address and the name, or the address, the name, and the schooler percentage, etc. So you can also notice it that we have here a default split, which right now is 50% for the schooler, 50 for the manager, and 0 for the investor. This will be used if we don't specify the percentages here. So if we add just the address or just the address and the name, it will use this percentage. So we can change that. Let's come here to the preferences on this little button. And here we can scroll down and put here the default we want. So let's do the same thing we did. Let's add 30 for the manager, 10 for the investor, and 60 for the schooler. Let's save it. Let's come back here. And then let's import those 4 schoolers. We have here the first line, just the address. On the second, we have the address, the name, the percentages, which is the schooler, the manager, and the investor. And then we have the payment address. And on those two, we have just the address, the name, and the percentages without the payment address. So you can see we can do all of them together. So, and the default split now is 60, 30, and 10, which will be used for the first one since we are not specifying here. So let's just save this. And then we added our other schoolers. The arena failed here because of the API, but we can retry. Okay, so here we have a few options, a few fields of the schooler. We have here the name of the schooler. You can see the second one was schooler 2, since we didn't specify a name, and the others have their own names. We can hover for the address. We can click this copy button to copy the address or the payment address when available. So in this case, it's not available, but for example, for this one, we added one, so we can click here to copy the address. We have here the SLP, just the amount he farmed. So on this, between the last claim and now, we can come here also to the preferences and select include running balance. So it's included. So if he has, for example, 10 SLP here, it will show up on the running, We have here the schooler amount using the share. We have the manager. And you can notice that we don't have here the investor share. But for example, this one has an investor, this one has an investor. So to see here the investor share, we can also come back here to the preferences and then on scholar fields, we can see that those are the fields being used. And here we have the investor, which we can push here right next to the manager or whenever we want. Let's add it here, let's save, and then now we can see the investor division here as well. And we can of course also remove the fields we want and add others. So let's for example remove the last claim. Let's add the yesterday SLP and then the inventory. Let's save it, and now we have the inventory here and we have the yesterday here. So continuing, we have here the arena yellow, we have the yesterday SLP and the today. You can notice that some schoolers, if it's your first time using the website, they will show up as just this slash. That's because you need first to connect your account to the website. We are going to do that in a bit. And you need to sync your schoolers to the cloud, so you need to upload them. And then the today value will start showing up after the next reset, the game reset, which is midnight UTC, which is when the daily mission resets. And then the yesterday amount will start showing up on the second day. So the first reset we can see the today, and then the other reset we can see the yesterday. That's after we sync the schoolers, which we'll do in a bit. So we have also the average, which is the amount that the schooler is getting per day on average. We have the inventory, and we have the next claim. And the last one, which we removed, of course. If we click on the card, we can see the axes that the schooler has. So we have here 3 axes. We can hover to see their details, the breed amount, the purity, and the genes. If the schooler has, I don't think any of those have, yeah. But if the schooler has more axes, you will have a button here showing, for example, plus 20, and then you can click. Here we have the barrels, which sadly was removed on the update. So it's here for now, but the update broke this feature, so you can't see the history anymore, nor the arena win rate, but you were able to do that and even watch the matches. You can't anymore because of the game update. We have the SLP tracking, which will also start to be tracked at the second day. I mean, I think the first day after the reset. So you will be able to see here. Just a reminder, you need to create an account and use the sync to start seeing this. We have here the profile. We can click and it will bring us to the Axie website. And then we also have the edit button where we can change anything. And we can also mark the schooler as inactive, which here it shows it's moved to the end of the list, hidden on the calendar page and from the dashboard data. So for example, if we do that, we can see that the schooler went here. It's now a little bit a lower opacity, and it won't show up on many of the data of the website. So let's put it back active. Okay. So here we have the sync button. We have the filters, which we can click. Right now we only have the total SLP. So for example, if we want from 60, 600, and this one won't show up, neither this. So yeah, they won't show up anymore. And show only claimable. So only those two, because they can claim the SLP. We have here the sort by, where we can sort the schoolers by the name, by the total SLP. We can sort by the next claim, the arena yellow, etc. Here we have the SLP price. We have here the total SLP, which is the sum of all the SLP here. We have the same amount, but just for the schoolers. So this one, we have the manager and we have the investor. And then of course we can see an approximated value that will be received per day, per week, and per month, considering the average. Another thing is that when you have the SLP tracking data, so starting at the second day, the average will use this data. So for example, the average right now is starting from the last claim. So let's add the last claim here again. So we're starting from 60 October, so around here, which isn't shown up anymore because it's just 40 days. It will get all this data and get the average of this data. And if you don't have the SLP tracking data, the average will be this amount divided by the days since the last claim. So it's less accurate because maybe the schooler didn't play today, for example. And then for this, you can also include the today on the average SLP. So you can click here. So the amount of the today which I farmed, which should be this one, will be included here. By default, it's not checked because it can be less accurate. Because, for example, this schooler here didn't play yet, but his average is lower because it's counting on another day with 0, for example. So you can leave it by off or on. This is the schooler page. What else? You can come here to the export button. Here you can export the data to a CSV or a JSON file. For example, you can select all the fields or just the ones you want. Let's select everything and let's export as CSV. And then we have here a file with everything. So for example, the SLP day, per day, the yesterday, and then we can also export as a JSON file. So we can see everything here. We also have on the same export button, we have the dashboard URL, which right now we can't do anything because we need to be logged in. So since we have many things that need to be logged in, like the sync and this, let's go do that. So we can come here to the dashboard. You can see here a summary, which is the number of schoolers you have, the average per schooler. So for example, you have 5 schoolers, the average of them is 68. You have the accumulated, which is how much you have SLP of each schooler here. The amount for the schooler, managed investor. You have when is your next claim, the amount that your schoolers farmed yesterday. Also a reminder that you need to sync and upload your schoolers. The today, you also need to sync and upload. And then you also have the notable performers, which uses the per day here to show the best schoolers, the top performers and the bottom performers by the average. And a reminder that it doesn't show the schoolers that claimed less than 1 full day ago. So for example, if this schooler claims now, his average will go to 0 because he just started another period. So he won't show up here. And then you can also click in history and see the SLP. So you can see this data here because those schoolers are already uploaded on another account. So for example, for a new schooler, you won't be able to see that because you need to sync and upload, like I said. And here on the daily SLP, you can see how much was farmed each day using the same data. So all of this will need you to be synced. So let's come here. I create an account for this. So let's sign in. And then here we can see already that we have this Cloud Sync, which has a upload button and a download button. So we created this account. I forgot to show, but there is a sign up link below the form. So we can come here and upload. So we have our local data, which is this one. And then on the cloud, we have nothing. So let's upload. And then now we have the data. So when you go to another browser or another device, you can log into the same account. You can click download, and then you can download it to local. So for example, let's come here to the schoolers. On the preferences, there is this danger settings with the delete all schoolers. So let's just delete all the schoolers. Let's go back to the profile, and then here is what you would see on a new device or a browser. You can see that there is nothing on the local, so we can just download. So downloading, we will get the cloud data to the local. So let's download, and then coming here we have everything again. And of course the sync button shows the same thing, so we can upload and download. Keep in mind that every time you change something, you will need to sync again. So for example, we have here Rocha. We can edit and add Rocha 2. Sorry, Rocha, I don't know, top. And then let's change the percentage and let's set it as inactive. And then we would need to come to sync and upload here. For example, Rocha top, which is on the local, will go to the cloud, which right now is just Rocha, so we can upload. So we change something, we come here, upload, and on the other browser, we can go to sync and download the data, so it's updated. Remember to always do that. So yeah, and after you are synced, so after you have the data uploaded, it will start to be tracked here. The SLP tracking, and this yesterday and today. So now let's come to the other pages. Let's come to the Axie. Oh, sorry, I forgot one of the most important, which is here on the export button. We can come to dashboard URL, and then now that we are logged in, we can create a shareable dashboard. So for example, it will use the data on the sync. So remember, always upload the changes. We have here a few settings. So we have the listed emails, which will be needed if we want to, let's say, protect the page. So let's add here my email. We can do add anything. And let's add Ninja 2. We can add a custom logo. Let's just copy. Let's see, can I copy? Yeah, so let's copy just this Axie image. Let's add it here. And then the dashboard type, for now there's only PVP and SLP, but we pretend to let you select everything you want. So for example, everything you have here. So let's save, and then we created a dashboard. So we can open this, we can share this link, and then here we have the email whitelist, so we would need to add this. So let's add let's add the Ninja email, and then we have here the image we added here on the logo, and then we have the schoolers data, which we just exported. And you can see that Rocha top here, it's not showing up here because he's inactive. So we can, for example, remove the inactive. We can upload again because we changed things. And then if we come here and refresh, you can see Rocha again because he's active. And then you can also change that. Right now it seems that it didn't keep the info. I'm going to fix that right after the video. But you can also, for example, remove this, save, and then it didn't change. Oh, right, it changed it now because of the cache. So we have the default here, which needs some fixing too, and that's it. Now to the Axie page. The Axie page is great because we can see all the axes of all the accounts. So for example, we have those accounts and we have their own axes. So in the axes page, we can see all of our axes. We can see the name, the amount of breed, and the purity. And then we have here, of course, the genes. We can hide the traits, the genes. And then if it's hidden, we can just hover it to see. And of course, here we have the filters, which we can, for example, show only the axes from the schooler serial and just the aquatic ones. So we can save, and then we have here the ones that match this. We can select all, and we can of course select the parts. So for example, if you want just the ones that have cereals and then pumpkin, this is the only one apparently, yeah, or just pumpkin, and then we have those. Actually, oh, okay, sorry, it's because it's the one that has the cereals and the